Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ari, and on this channel of mine, I like to talk about my thoughts, feelings, emotions, anything that comes to mind, and share them with whoever does watch my videos to relate with other people and bond and connect on feelings that we experience on a universal level to an extent. If you're not new here, thank you for watching another video of mine. Any support, positivity shown my way, it does mean a lot to me. So, today, everyone, what I wanted to express and what was on my mind is what is meant for you will come through a feeling. You won't have to think about it, or you won't have to second guess your intuition. And it does happen still where something is meant for us and we might second guess it or question it. Is it too good to be true? But I feel like that's when that extra work or that overthinking that we can catch ourselves doing, that's when we need to recognize it. And it's also about knowing yourself and learning yourself and also envisioning where you see yourself as far as being committed towards working towards a better version of yourself, because some things that make us feel good and they come across as feelings, that doesn't mean that they are good for us. So we all have our own personal boundaries or expectations or ideas when it comes to the person we want to be, the person we know that we are. But when it comes to things that really resonate with your soul, with your sole purpose or who you are, it will be a feeling that makes you feel at ease, at peace, bliss. And I'll name a couple examples, but say there's this dream career that you have, and you you know that it'll take time to get to where you want to be, but even thinking about it, thinking about how that hard work will pay off, and even the process, like the process will take time in order to work towards your goals, but just knowing that you're working towards your goals and every step you take, it's for a bigger and bigger purpose. So even when or with careers, I feel like you should do what you love, because why would you want to spend your time doing something else? And of course, what we love, it has other components. Sometimes what we love can, to an extent, stress us out because we want the best for it, or we are focusing extra on it to make sure that it's taken care of, it's suitable, it's satisfactory for us. But that's a different topic. But what's meant for you, you'll get excited. You'll feel that joy. You'll like the hard work is worth it, or the hours put in, it makes you feel so much more accomplished. So that could be while you're brainstorming, oh, what do I want to do? Or what are some of my goals? And those goals that you have the blueprint or you have the idea and the image of in your head, that's enough to keep you going, to thrive off of that energy, although you don't have it yet, although it will come in the future. Another thing, as far as like something being for you and you feeling it instead of overthinking or second guessing it or rejecting it, it could come in the bigger forms and the smaller forms. For me, sometimes I'm just in bed watching like a show or just laying down comfortably, and I feel so at ease. And I know that could be a pretty standard feeling for some people, but it's like what a blessing it is to have, like, to be in my own space, to have no other obligation right now but to enjoy my own presence, to be comfortable, to be able to take in this this quaint experience. So um I feel like even the smaller things or things that we think like, oh, that's not that big of a deal, that teaches us or helps us understand the type of person we are. I like to relax. I'm a homebody, but other people in other environments, maybe it's going to the movies. I like going to the movies too, but going to the movies every week, getting yourself your popcorn and like uh getting yourself a popcorn. Sometimes movie theaters have like those deal passes where if you spend $30 you get popcorn throughout the whole year. It's like paying that up front, the sacrifice is worth it because you know it's for you. You know that it's something that you like to do. It's a passion of yours. So it's also feeding into that energy of what's meant for you will arrive via clarity, not confusion. It's just instinct, or the thought of this fuels me so much. I know it will take work, but I'm going to make it happen. And I did mention that not everything that feels good is good for us. So we could get caught up in the distractions or caught up in wanting to stray away from who we are. And that doesn't mean that we can't take breaks or we can't have different experiences, because that's how you get to know yourself as well. Just because I've had thoughts personally of, oh, I want to try this out, but at the same time, I don't think that's like me. I don't think that's for me. But it could be a fine line, because even thinking like that, I might be protecting myself from something, or I might be limiting myself to something. So, of course, it depends on what it is. But if I feel like we should have that own personal ratio or balance of making sure that we do take on new experiences. But some things are just good enough to hear about it, and it's like, you know what, I don't have that fear of missing out here. And it's also the fact that at any point in time you could switch it up. You could be reluctant to it one day, but then the next day you're like, you know what, why not try this out? But I feel like it's also important to think about temporary satisfactions versus what you want in the long term. Because sometimes when we feel like we're doing ourselves wrong, it's just like when perhaps you were like a child growing up and maybe you knew that your parents wouldn't want you to do something, but you do it anyways, and then you feel guilty. We start to parent our own selves, and we're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Or I feel like that's when something isn't for you. Or once again, it's a fine line, but even that guiltiness, or you're already going back and forth in your mind, like, is that okay for me to do? But once again, it could be tricky because sometimes we could be our worst critic. Sometimes we could talk ourselves out of things. But I feel like from person to person, and it it takes time even getting comfortable with sometimes acknowledging parts of who you are. Um yeah, acknowledging parts of who you are and just knowing yourself, because we can second guess ourselves a lot as well. So I feel like it starts with understanding yourself, because for me, I would go back and forth and question my qualities that I now resonate with, as far as this is who I am. Although sometimes I don't, not it's not that I don't like it. I don't Sometimes I am judgy towards myself. This is how I am. I like myself, or I'm growing to like myself more and more. I do know that I love myself. So let me start from there. So I feel like that's the foundation of things. And then that's when you get more comfortable acknowledging, oh, this is for me because this makes me feel a certain way with the parts of myself that I've already accepted. And this is not for me because it reminds me of when I would go back and forth with who I am. It makes me question myself. It makes me want to dim my light. So I feel like just paying attention to your feelings and your emotions. And I also feel like feelings and emotions, because they change for us personally, they could be easy to it could be easy to say to ourselves, oh, I'm being too sensitive, or am I thinking too much into it? So it could be easy to scare ourselves out of our feelings and emotions. Um, but I also feel like that's also where your intuition kicks in as well. And something I like to say or tell myself, if there's something you're unsure about and it's like, do I play it safe or better safe than sorry? I tell myself, when you don't know what to do, don't do anything at all, because give yourself grace, give yourself time, give yourself patience, and why rush as well. And one thing that you don't want to do is play yourself out of the position that you're in. And what I mean by that is jeopardize something, knowing that it's okay and it's good to take risks, but sometimes we know that we're selling ourselves short because we want to feel something different, when, like, that saying, why swap a dime for a penny? Or just because a nickel is bigger than a dime is still worth more. So yeah, everyone, that's all I wanted to talk about today. um Feel free to voice your comments, or thank you just for watching this video and making it this far if you have. But I will talk to you all next time. Bye.